All right, and welcome to Sports on Tap. I'm your host, Rob Troutman. We have Sean Duffy joining me here today, and we have some special guests, many guests here today on an exclusive girls softball. The Cuyahoga Heights girls softball team joins us, and we'll get into it here shortly as head coach Kyle Manfredonia joins us, pitcher Julia Harris, third baseman Sydney Dyer, and center fielder Maddie Vance join us here on Sports on Tap. And thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. We appreciate it. So, Cuyahoga Heights, you guys are in the Final Four. It's been an unbelievable season. You guys are 20-4. You won the CVC Metro Division. Coach, we'll first start with you, a 20-4 record. Talk a little bit about your season. And, I mean, going into this season, did you ever expect to be this impressive? And, I mean, you have the seniors, obviously. All three girls are seniors this year. Talk a little bit about what you thought about going into the season.
Going into the season was it was a little different with what happened last year, with everything getting taken away from us with COVID and everything. So it was really hard to judge on what was going to happen. I knew we had a talented group of seniors, our four seniors. I knew they were a talented group. They'd been great leaders since they were freshmen. And I knew we were adding some talented girls, some really talented softball players. So it's still hard to expect what was going to happen. We started off really hot, started off firing out the gates, and it really came to fruition when we beat Independence for the first time in like 6 years. And we took them down in our first rivalry game with them. And after that kind of happened, we all kind of looked at each other like, all right, we got something special here. But it was hard to imagine to be where we're at right now. When you're starting to experience this, it's really cool. So, it was hard to expect, but now that it's happened, it's like, all right, I see this happening.
Yeah, I mean, your losses were all close games. I mean, for the most part, you had some really good competition. You lost to a Menor team, but a lot of your wins, too. I mean, I think I saw runs. You guys scored 18 runs in a game. So, obviously, the offense is there. Talk a little bit about the girls that make up your team. With the viewers listening, talk a little bit about your team now.
It's a really great bunch of girls from top to bottom. I was telling them earlier about in 2014 when we won the state championship, in 2015 when we went to the Final Four. I never experienced a team that was this close to each other and bonded with each other. They're always rooting for each other. One thing I talk about with them is they never get rattled, no matter what it is. They really handle themselves well. They really work hard, and they put the time and effort in. And that goes something to say for them, because I only can do so much as a coach. I only can give you half of it. They have to finish the other half, and man, they really stepped up this year, and it's great to see. They're such an amazing group of girls. I've known them for a long time, so it's really awesome for them to get to this point.
Coach, one of the things that we've talked about with a lot of high school athletes and coaches this year was just the need to kind of be flexible in not only in preparation but in really play. Can you talk a little bit about how that affected maybe the spring sports? I know the spring sports kind of took the brunt of it last year, and you mentioned that earlier on. But what kind of changes were implemented by OHSAA coming into this season, given where we kind of are in a state of things in the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, we had to be very careful. I mentioned to them many times that this could all be taken away again in a second. So we couldn't take it for granted. And even if the whole sport doesn't get shut down, our team could still get shut down for those 2 weeks, because we've seen it happen in some of the winter sports, some of the other programs at the school, that they just got shut down just because of, it wasn't anyone did anything wrong. It's just, this is the way it goes, especially with COVID. You could do everything right, but still get the virus, and it could still affect the team. But so we really tried our best to be as careful as we could. We wore a mask all the time. The girls took it very serious, because they knew what a heartbreak it was last year. They wanted to make sure we had the season, make sure we played out, especially when we saw all our success. They definitely took it even more serious at that point. We didn't want to be that team rolling into playoffs as hot as we are and then not be able to play those games.
One, and talk a little bit about the off-season program. You know, with the girls not able to, you know, it was probably a different off-season for everyone. Their hard work, not only on their own, but you know, I'm sure you had to juggle and do some different things to get everyone still practicing and still working hard towards the end goal. Which right now, obviously, you're in the Final Four. So you guys did something right, but talk about, you know, maybe the challenges in the off season through the season with everything going on.
The off season is tough enough as it is at a school like ours. For such a small school, these girls are playing multiple sports at a time. So it's not like I can get them all year or even for most of the off season. Because they're juggling either basketball or they got their volleyball going on or something in the winter. And so that makes it tough as it is. And then you add in COVID with all the restrictions and everything, because these girls are very good at the other sports that they play. So it's hard for me as a coach to be like, hey, I need them to go do some off-season work while they're still participating in theirs. So we have to be, as a school and a whole all coaching staff, we have to be able to give each other when we can. And so it makes it tough. But they really worked hard. When I get them in February, as soon as February 22nd hits, that's when the season starts for us. We had really good numbers at the open gyms with a lot of the younger girls, so that was a real plus to see how serious they were taking it. And that's what we're trying to do here, is make a culture change with the program. And but they balled out as soon as practice started. Man, they were excited. They brought the energy every day, and then that's what makes the difference.
Now, did you see a difference when it came to the playoffs? Because playoffs, obviously, it's a little bit different than the regular season. Obviously, regular season, you know, winning 20 games is ridiculously good. But when you get in the playoffs, things, you know, you have to be almost better and perfect in games to win them. Was there any changes that you guys saw with the girls as the playoffs? It seems like they even picked up their game a little bit when it came to the playoffs.
There is absolutely change. Just the way they approach the games, mentally and physically. We talked about a while ago about when you step on that field, you got to become a different version of yourself, and they definitely do. Especially in the playoffs. I mean, this is the best that I've seen them play in a very long time, and it's perfect timing. And then they just vibe off each other. Then they use each other for that energy, and they've really been bringing it. There's been a lot of games where I was like, wow, really impressed, really fun watching them. It's awesome.
Well, now let's bring in some of the players that have been here, and we'll start with you, Julia. You're a three-sport athlete. You're a captain of the soccer team, basketball team, and softball team. So you're juggling all kind of sports around here. How much fun has it been for you? And obviously playing all those different sports, you stay pretty busy. How do you focus and put in the work with softball when you have all those other sports going on?
It's been, like, I've always been playing softball, like, over the summer, so softball's always been my favorite, so I've kind of always put that one first, and that kind of stuff, but it's honestly not that hard trying to juggle between the three of them, just because I enjoy competing and playing sports so much, so it's really not that much of a hassle.
Now, have you been?
Julie, you're the.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead, Rob. Okay, I was gonna say you're the pitcher on our little here on our Zoom call here, and just kind of talk a little bit about your season overall as a pitcher. What are some of the techniques and mechanics, things that you really wanted to work on and really perfect, especially going into this stretch run that you have right now?
Well, right off the jump, Coach wanted me to get up my arm speed. Every time he says, every pitch, you just got to whip it. Just got to whip it. I already have pretty good movement, but I think I have brought in a lot of speed, especially because we didn't have last season. Teams weren't used to kind of seeing my new type of speed, but that was kind of our main goal coming into it, is just keep throwing it as hard as I can.
Well, that's good. So you had a secret weapon coming in that no one saw and took the league by storm. That's perfect. I love that. That's great. So
far this year, you have a 20-4 record. Talk about the season overall. How fun has it been for you to play with Maddie and Sydney and the other girls on the team, especially when you're winning? I mean, a 20-4 record, winning or co-champs of the CVC Metro Division. I mean, it's been a special year for you guys so far.
Yeah, it's been super fun. This is by far the most fun season out of any of my sports throughout the last 4 years. It's the most fun that I've had, and especially with Sid and Maddie. We've been playing together forever. They've been my best friends since elementary school, so it's an absolute dream to be playing out with my best friends on the field and just keep on rolling, keep on winning.
Now, do you have a favorite memory so far from this year? I mean, you still have some games to go here. The regional championship, I mean, in the playoffs, you guys have been rolling. The regular season, obviously a 20-4 record, but how's it been for you in the playoffs? I mean, has it been any different than the regular season?
The intensity is definitely much higher in the playoff games, as you would expect. But I think we've also realized that it's much more emotional, because after every single playoff game, we're always coming over to each other, giving each other big hugs, crying often, just because of the intensity of it all. But yeah, it's just been super fun. The playoffs are so exciting. It gives you the butterflies, but in the best way possible.
Well, you've done
Don't
a
feel
great.
too ashamed of it. Rob cries after every show. It's a
I do. Sometimes you can't be afraid to let it loose and cry a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that.
You should have seen him after the hockey games. It was insane. We had to calm him down. It was a whole thing.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
But great job so far this season. And now we'll go to Sydney Dyer, who plays or is a two-sport athlete as well. And you play infield. Am I correct? You're third base. Yeah. So you're captain of the volleyball and softball team. So, I mean, everybody's playing two sports here. But talk a little bit about the infield. I mean, you're on the hot corner over there. I'm sure you've had some liners. And although with Julia, you might get lonely over there. Same with outfield sometimes. But I'm sure you've had some balls hit to you.
These scores, there's not a lot of activity in the infield or outfield.
That's right. But how's the season been going for you and at third base for you this year?
It's been going so great. I mean, I knew, walking into it, it was going to be amazing. I was actually just talking to Julia and Maddie today about how upset I am that we didn't have a season last year just because of, the run we're on now. And, just to see how good we are is, so amazing. And now we're in playoffs, the intensity, how close we've gotten. It's just amazing. I've never been closer to any group of girls.
Now do the girls calm everybody? Is there somebody that calms everybody down and a jokester on the team that keeps it light and easy going, especially during playoffs? Because I'm sure, like you said, the intensity is up. I'm sure nerves are going, especially once the game's going. Is there someone on the team that is a jokester that keeps it loose and keeps it light when you play?
I feel like we're all so intense. We're all, constantly going, making each other, more riled up. I feel like no one is ever, trying to calm other people down. It's just always so intense, so loud. We're always cheering so much. It's amazing.
I don't think it would go over very well if someone tried to calm them down.
I would freak out.
That sounds like a guy who's tried a couple of times and been like, hey, I'm just going to let this run and see what happens.
There's a lot of great personalities on this team. They all bring the energy, especially on the bench. They do a really good job with that.
Now, one of the questions I have actually for all three of you is that you guys are senior captains. And as Coach Manfredonia said, there's only 4 real seniors on here. So how important has it been to kind of set the tone for the rest of the team, especially the younger players that are on the team and maybe kind of that maybe, sorry about that, that, are coming up and kind of set the example for leaders in the future?
Right from the beginning of the season, we had pretty high expectations. We kind of even said, on our first day of practice, we're going to states. That was, very high expectations. But the underclassmen have been awesome this year. No one has really been, too bratty or, trying to step up and, I don't know, just get out of their, place, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they've been awesome, and I lost my train of thought.
No, you've
Just have a 7-year-old come in.
yeah. Hey, that's what you never know on these Zoom calls. What can happen? That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
But no, it sounds like you have great leadership on the team, especially with you three. And we'll get to Maddie. Maddie Vance, she's a 2-sport athlete as well, plays volleyball and softball. Maddie, talk a little bit about you play outfield for the team. And how fun is it to play outfield when Julia's pitching? Is it exciting out there, or do you have to do something to keep your attention span going out there?
It really depends on the game. Julia does a great job. She gives the ball a lot of spin. It gets pretty high in the air, and they usually tend to hit them right to me when they hit them at all. But I love to play outfield. I love to be there to back her up and just be on her side and be able to help her. Staying focused, it's pretty easy for me, actually. I don't know. I just kind of like zone in on her pitches, and I love to watch them move like from the outfield. I think it's crazy.
She saves my butt a lot of the time. I love having her. As soon as I see it go over my head, I'm like, okay, Maddie's got it. Maddie's got it.
Have you made any? Yeah.
What she didn't tell you was she played shortstop for the first 2 years.
Oh, okay.
This is her real first year in center field for me. She's been killing it. She's been doing great.
And Maddie, I guess the question then would be, do you prefer playing the outfield as opposed to shortstop, or is it just something that maybe you didn't realize that you liked playing, or that you were so used to playing shortstop?
I like to play shortstop a lot, but I've also like through years of like playing tournament ball, I've always played like left field. Like I've never actually played center field till this year. So it's like kind of a really hard change for me to go from left to center, just seeing the ball move differently and trying to get a good read on it. But I do love playing shortstop as well, but I think I like the outfield more.
There you go. She's not born and bred outfielder, she just didn't know it.
Now, do most of you girls play other positions, or is it just strictly, like for Julia, pitching, or Sydney, do you just play third base?
Yeah, I'm just at third. I've been third like my whole life. I would never want to play anywhere else. I'm so used to playing there, and I love it there.
I used to play second, like for tournament ball, like when my other pitchers would be pitching, I'd go to second or outfield, but with high school, there's no really other pitchers, so it's just me.
That's what's incredible, with girls softball is being able to pitch every single game. Now, with the style and the way you pitch, does your arm ever get tired, or is it just no big deal? You can keep going out there and pitching all the innings.
I normally I don't get very tired. Like my arm will be sore. Like if some weeks, like this year we had like 4 games in a row. So I'd get a little tired after that whole streak. But other than that, no, it's not too bad. As long as I stretch and ice. Like a couple years ago I got like my forearm was being a little weird, but this year it's been no injuries, so thankfully.
Yeah, that's a plus. And I mean, especially through what's been kind of a weird season, I'm sure injuries can happen if you don't stretch properly, and especially in the playoffs. I mean, you guys have played, you were up to 24 games, and now you've played more than that at this point, up over 30 games. So with the girls, what's one thing that you're enjoying with the playoffs so far? Are you enjoying having the crowds back? I know the crowds probably are coming. I'm not sure, do they have a limit on the crowd at these games? I don't remember hearing that. I thought they were allowed to have crowds now.
Yeah, it's really nice, like allowing the student body to finally start coming to our games again. Like with basketball and soccer and that kind of stuff, you only had a certain amount of tickets you could give out. So it's really nice to see a lot of people come support, and a lot of like the old alumni are coming and being loud, which is just awesome. It's just an amazing community feeling.
Very cool.
Yeah, the community support has been, especially at these games in Akron. I didn't realize how hot it was until I was watching the film, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they were bringing it for the community." It was great. And I know that pumps the girls up.
Yeah, just hearing the crowd.
You got a big game on Thursday against New York Catholic. It's state Final Four. I mean, you guys, Coach Kyle, you've been here before with other teams, and what kind of experience, what kind of mentality are you trying to get them into, or are you just kind of letting it proceed as it's been all season.
Just letting it proceed as it's been all season. Hey, I'm just letting them do what they do. We were talking about at practice. We're not doing anything different. We're approaching it like a business trip. We're gonna go do our job, make sure we get the win, and get out of there.
So now
Sounds like
that
a winning formula to me.
now that you're another day closer, what's tomorrow's schedule like for the girls? Is it just to kind of take it easy and go through the motions a little bit, not do too much, so they're ready for Thursday?
Or wind sprints. I say wind sprints, but that's the old football coach in me, and I was always taught that wind sprints win games. But that's just me.
About doing stadiums to start off practice, but they
Right.
want to knock that one out. But I'm pretty sure they got finals and everything going on this week, so I'm sure they got some tests tomorrow maybe. So I know we'll just go to practice at 3 and at 4:45 like we've been doing. Just make sure we're just trying to maintain right now. There's nothing more we can do. We've done everything we can throughout the whole season. They've done everything that they're supposed to do. So it's just what I tell them all the time. It's about who goes out there and performs. All these teams are good. You know, there's no one more dominant team than the other. It's just we got to go out there and perform.
Well, definitely. I mean, from what I've seen in social media and things like that of people who are at these games, and like you mentioned, just the atmosphere. I mean, you've got a lot of supporters behind you, and a lot of people that are cheering and wishing you well. And we're definitely on the side of Cuyahoga Ice, because you guys, with the exception, I think, of one other local team, are the only ones still alive in the tournament, which is fantastic. And I think that's really great for your program and for all of the seniors who didn't get an opportunity to play last year and still get to carry that banner into the States. And I'm thinking, I'm hoping you guys move on and win this whole dang thing and take it from there.
Yeah, we will. We're definitely going to.
Okay, well then that's fine. Then I mean, this is a foregone conclusion, and we'll circle back in 2-3 days. All right, that sounds about right. All right. No, but I mean, it's been really fun to watch, and as we were talking before we got on the call, a family member of mine does, I think, stats and calls your guys' game, and he was Snapchatting, and it was amazing to see when you guys won your last game how it seemed like the entire team and maybe the entire town rushed the mound, and I'm just a little concerned for Julia, because if she's in the middle of that and takes a cleat to the arm, we got a problem, Coach. I mean, we're going to have to figure something out. So
security? Are you suggesting security?
I think a security, perhaps a giant sumo wrestler, just kind of keeping everybody intent. I don't know. There's something we have to do, because I'm concerned for the pitcher. Because she got bum rushed.
She might need a new mask, because I saw her just football spike it off the ground as hard as she could.
Yeah.
You may need to find a new mask for her, but...
I walked up to my mask at the end of the game, and I picked it up, and it was all in pieces. It's bad.
Oh man!
Great. So now Julia's got to pitch the next game with a football helmet on. Perfect.
Well, I will give credit to whoever had video on your social media. They did a great job from the stands with the video. I think it was the final out in the regional finals, I believe it was. So that was pretty cool to see and to post on your social media. You don't see that all the time, but I think they've done a great job with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people we get those videos from, especially me, from my family, but the administration does a great job with making sure everyone that's on Twitter knows what's going on, and play-by-play stuff when Sid's making great plays at third, or Julia's striking people out, or Maddie's just making great catches in center field, or anyone's doing anything. They do a really good job at making sure everyone knows. So we definitely appreciate that, especially for those who can't make it.
Yeah. And a lot of the family members, I'm sure, or grandparents, that can't come. It's nice to see the updates, I'm sure, right there, and they do a great job. So hopefully, keep winning, keep going. And any last thoughts? Do you have any last memories so far of the season? Obviously, you still have some memories to make this season. So, keep it rolling and have some fun and keep it rolling.
We appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate having us on.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
I have a question for all of the seniors, because and for all of the players. Was there one thing in this season that surprised you? Was there anything that you weren't expecting, or maybe that took you by surprise, whether it be a game, whether it be, just kind of the way things kind of worked out? Wow, look, I got him thinking. See, I got thinking
man,
questions, Rob.
That's
just a hat rack up here.
I think the thing that shocked us the most, we had a good feeling that we were gonna beat our biggest rival, but like I guess that was like when it first set in, like that we're a really good team, and so I think that was the most like the biggest moment of realization, and then we just kept it rolling after that.
Excellent. Well, I think you were a really good team before that happened, but I think, like you said, that may have just,
solidified,
resonated and kind of put it all into granite, which is great. And we at Sports on Tap wish you nothing but the best on Thursday. Hopefully you're not rained out because it's looking like a lot of rain coming, but I think you guys will be able to get it in and, hopefully continue this train rolling, and best of luck to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we want to thank everyone for coming on. Head coach Kyle Manfredonia for coming on, pitcher Julia Harris, third baseman Sydney Dyer, and center fielder Maddie Vance. Thanks for coming on. Good luck, and we'll be watching very closely on Thursday.
Yes. Go get them.
All right, thank you guys.